What color is that?
Now the CHP is
Red?
working with Fontana PD here on this pursuit. They're not following. They haven't taken the
I think it's
lead,
red.
but they are
We'll go with
assisting
red.
traffic breaks behind. But also
Gil Levis.
they want to try to get this to a stop.
Okay.
A pit maneuver right now is out of the question, but
Let me
could
pull
be
up the
a
chat.
spike strip up ahead that will bring this to an end. That would be very helpful
Okay.
for the Fontana.
Shut the door so Olga doesn't yell at me. What's up, everybody?
Successfully,
What's up, Noti Gang?
the driver there with looks like his hazard lights on.
Okay, picking up a little bit of speed here. Let me find out where we are. Because I am unaware.
Road on the 10 westbound.
10 westbound. Peck Road, Gil Levis on the call. KTLA. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome in. Let's go chasing, shall we?
Traffic ahead of this driver here. The traffic brake that's behind the pursuit.
Supposedly a stolen vehicle here. We have about 4 CHP cruisers in pursuit. Whole bunch of traffic on the 10 westbound, which is going to take us towards downtown LA if we haven't passed it already, is behind this armada, this brigade of cops. I count about 7 cruisers lighting them up with red and blues. 3-star chase here for the want once again is carjacking. What's up, everyone?
Now about 35 miles an hour, according to
Only doing 35 miles an hour on the 10 westbound, so it's a slow speed chase, well under the standard freeway
We'll
speeds.
see what they try to do up ahead. Have a lot of options. This is
Chief of
just
Staff
about right for a
MS
pit
once
maneuver.
again comes into this chat bright and early and gives out a whole bunch of subs to people in the community. W's in the chat for Chief of Staffs, RJ Ryerson, all those guys. They come
Westbound
in
10
here.
freeway approaching Santa Anita now.
Good question. Why don't they pit? I just got a question. Why don't they pit at this speed with no traffic? That's a good question. The traffic is behind the pursuit, and they're in the wheelhouse of a pit maneuver speed, 35 to 40 miles an hour, perfect speed to pit. Now this is a XL Dodge Charger, so pitting this vehicle, like we saw the Miami chase, is not going to be as easy as usual. The idea with the pit is you're trying to get the engine to stall. And with a Dodge Charger of this size, I'm going to let Gil Levis get us up to speed.
Montana PD trying to pull this pickup truck over. It's stolen, said to be carjacking, a carjacking suspect inside the vehicle. We don't know how many occupants are in the vehicle other than the driver, but they are concerned that the driver may be armed, and so it's going to be a different approach with a potentially armed suspect in that vehicle. You can see traffic brakes on the on-ramps there, but here is CHP
Coming to a stop. Oh, spike strips.
Right there.
Spike strips. In the middle of the freeway, we avoid them. CHP officers laying down a bed of spike strips there in the middle of the 10 westbound with no traffic. Now we might see a pit maneuver as we have avoided the first hurdle here. Now we know he's not pulling over, and this is more than just a peaceful pursuit.
Headlights and then driving around it.
Eliana is live at the moment, but I'm going to stick with Gil. It's tough for me to make the switch midstream. I also don't trust NBC's cameras as much as we love Eliana.
The driver now moving across a few lanes here, being able to dodge
Is that more
that
spike strips?
strip that was out in the middle of the freeway. Try to come back in. You can see faintly there in the driver's side window, it might be the driver wearing something white.
If you guys really want Eliana, you're going to have to endure me switching the...
Pulling up almost to a stop in front of that spike strip, then realizing it was a spike
It's going to take me
going
like
around it.
15 to 20 seconds to make the switch. We don't know what will happen in that time.
And was able to squeeze around that spike strip as they...
It's risky,
CHP
just to
tried
get Eliana on the mic.
Put that spike strip into effect there.
And then we have to deal with
Faster,
NBC's
probably
quality,
wouldn't
their
have seen it
technology as
would
well.
have been a successful spike strip, but unfortunately not. The speeds maybe sped up here a little bit more than
Chat says
the
stay,
last
so
speed
we will
heard,
stay.
about 35 miles an hour, maybe 40, 45 miles an hour right now.
One, two, three, four, five, six, at least CHP vehicles here. Many of those look pit certified by the cages on the front. BRG36 just dropped into the chat. Gave away, Jesus, how many subs did you just, 10 of them? 10 subs you just gave out. Chief of Stiff Arms just gave out more subs. That's like 10 in this stream alone. W's all over the place. Don't be thanking me for these streams. Thank these two chatters who continue to come in here. All you people do is complain, and they give you free subs. So you should be friends with them, not me.
Not trusting the road ahead of them now that they had a spike strip attempt.
Passports on the way. 20 Locust passports going out to people here in the chat. What was that? Oh, I thought that was on the freeway.
They are on scene, and we'll have to check with my pilot if they're the new.
Not to be outdone, the leader, DJ Ryerson, just gave out. How many subs did you just give out? 10 yourself. You have reclaimed first place. You can see it at the top of the chat. DJ Ryerson back to 95 subs given out total. 87 for Chief of Staff MS.
Initially was on this pursuit.
That's crazy. Oh, I want every single person that just got a free sub from one of these 3 community members to send them a thank you. No ads for you. Ad-free viewing.
It's unclear to me if Fontana officers, or at least the ones that are in this pursuit right now, are pit qualified, that pit maneuver where they spin the vehicle.
Now, if we're, don't you dare drop kill, I'm gonna have to make a switch away.
They may not want to do that because
every time that CHP helicopter flies across the screen, I keep thinking they're in the HOV lane.
Be on the table right now, though the speeds are just about right for that. But the next best option to bring this to an end would be another attempt on the spike strip. So we'll see if that happens. The driver has open lanes ahead of him all the way up to the 710 freeway. Very few cars ahead of the pickup truck here.
Just cruising along here, folks.
On the 10, but we'll see.
Appreciate everyone else that is subscribing as well. I can't get to Brophy24, Darif G. Whole bunch of names here. Sorry, I thought we were picking up here. Whole bunch of names of people that continue to support the channel. We have merchandise as well. If that's something that interests you, birdsintheair.com. Link is in the top left of your screen. We have a whole bunch of options for you this upcoming holiday season. Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. Kwanzaa. Birthdays. You like police chases? You got good merch in there for you.
Westbound 10 freeway, and we have the 710 freeway.
I just had a question about Downey. 710 freeway coming up. If we hop on the 710, Downey's in play. We're headed westbound right now. 710 will take us south to Downey. So if we get off there, all roads lead to Downey. What?
That's not what the others want to see happen.
A car just went flying by the... This person was probably stuck back in traffic, saying like, fuck you guys. I'm out of here. I'm not waiting in this bullshit, and just flew past the chase. I got people to do and places to be. Did I just say people to do? Things to do, people to see.
And we'll see if the driver tries to jump onto that 710 coming up, or possibly exiting in the Alhambra area.
Am I still doing cameo vids? Yes. Is that the LA Metro? Look at that. Yes, LA has trains. And they're quite efficient, believe it or not. Love to see an LA train. Do I have a date this weekend? Sunday. People to do. Things to see. I was way off. Things to do, places to be. I have a lot of Yogi Berra in me. But he said I got places to go. I got an appointment. We're on level 9 of this hype train. I've never seen it this high. One more sub until we get to level 10.
Slower lanes there has moved over after that spike strip attempt.
right? LA trains, real thing. Some trains not recommended, but the double deckers like that run between the highway, especially east of downtown, those are nice trains. The red train, the red line, like Hollywood to downtown, might get a little
the sheriff's helicopter overhead. This pursuit.
interesting.
Vehicles in trail there blocking traffic.
How many fucking jeez? I said just one.
There that could get in.
Orbital and Chief of Staff MS has retaken the lead. 97 subs now.
Itself, but for the most part,
We have a new leader on the verge of 100 subs given out to Chief of Staff MS 1966. W's in the chat. That's almost every single person here that's active right now has gotten a free sub from one of these extremely generous community members. Still going here, folks.
Another look into the cab there. We're not sure if it's just the driver only or possibly another person or persons in the vehicle.
Someone said as much suspense as this Lakers game. Huangster 69, 8 Chris Edwards. All you guys, appreciate you. Of course, this feels like we might be on a little bit of a journey here tonight. Too old, says Late to the Chase. Thanks for doing these streams. This one might go on for a little bit. You never know. One of the most ridiculous, the Leroy Jenkins chase was boring for an hour before it turned into the chase of the year. You never know with these things. We see something different every time.
Westbound 10 freeway, now we're about a mile from the 710 freeway. The driver will have that option to take that 710 freeway. So
710 freeway coming up, Downey Norwalk in play.
Freeway, and it hasn't really changed much other than getting around to the spike strip attempt just a little while ago. So as far as traffic, it looks like it's clear sailing all the way to the 5 freeway. And the
Seatbelt 038, DU HUD 14.
Not a whole lot of traffic.
Appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. We might be making an interchange here, as you can tell. I don't know if the very left lanes go to the 710 or not. My guess is that's to stay on the 10 and to go.
CHP unit going by.
Whoa, CHP flying ahead. Maybe going to set up a spike strip.
They're assisting Fontana PD in this pursuit, not taking
it's not CHP, it's Fontana PD. Maybe that's why we haven't seen very aggressive maneuvers just yet. CHP is kind of... this is their jurisdiction, their territory. But we know CHP usually likes to take over chases exclusively. They don't want to... If Fontana PD's there, they'll say you handle it. Someone said, wow, need more Florida. Florida chases are fucking wild, man. Those do not last long for a reason.
Speed super slow here now, a lot different from...
there are no laws or rules in South Florida for chases, and those drivers, I mean, it really is GTA Vice City.
It looks like the low 30 miles an hour, possibly 30... the lowest we heard officially from the law enforcement is 35 miles an hour, but it looks like it's a lot slower now than that, and probably because the driver's concerned about a spike strip being up ahead. California Highway Patrol trying to help in that manner to bring it to an end, but at this point, Fontana PD
still going,
giving it up to the CHP and allowing a lot of patience here as they deal with this.
Yeah, Florida's extreme everything, man.
Not sure if they might have saw
no, we don't have a speedometer on KTLA. Sorry.
Might have been a spike strip attempt under the bridge there. Might have gone around it once again. So, unfortunately, we couldn't see it.
Those of you coming out of an ad break, you haven't missed much. I don't believe we got on the 710. So, we're staying 10 westbound, is my guess. I don't know. So, let me think. Southbound would mean you're making a left. And he stayed in the left lanes, but the interchange to the right went above So that goes above the 10 and then drops you down on the southbound side. So my guess is he's still on the 10. We don't have the GPS like we do with NBC and ABC. We're kind of on our own here.
Well, the suspect here is now westbound 10 from the 710. So the next major freeway is going to be that 5 interchange.
Yep. So no 710 southbound. Sorry. No Downey unless he goes 5 southbound. We'll still get to Downey that way. We have other options. We could make the switch to Eliana. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to reframe it.
Listening to the strategy from the CHP right now as they try to assist the Fontana PD in getting this to an end.
I don't know. I don't want to make the switch. That cop is really tight. If y'all missed a pit maneuver, Desmond's up too. I can get Desmond up without having to, because I go to a different browser for KCal. You know what? Let's do that.
And now it's getting into the Central Division.
Let's try that.
To downtown LA. Concern for this pursuit is that if the driver stays on the 10 and doesn't get onto the 5, it's going to take this pursuit.
Oh, okay. Desmond Shaw.
And then beyond that, it'll be
which, you know, could definitely give the authorities time to set up for a spike strip maneuver. That's an advantage for the authorities. But still, as we've seen now 2 different times, a very difficult thing for them to pull off. As we are making our way here near downtown, so we're going to have a decision coming up here if we're going to stick with this is where the 10 turns into the northbound 101 going into downtown LA, and then they'll also have the option to hit either the north or southbound side of the 5. As I look around, the 5 freeway is pretty much open. Might be a little bit of congestion on the 101 if northbound.
Okay.
Like they're
Desmond Shaw, it is. We got it. Look at the difference in the quality of the camera. We got GPS and a speedometer, and we get Desmond.
They're going to be going for the northbound 101.
Northbound 101 interchange coming up here off of the 10 westbound. You could always tell the quality of the camera. CBS and ABC have the best cameras by far.
We really narrowed down exactly what happened here.
And we get Desmond Shaw up in the air. This looks a lot better.
Citrus and Merrill, a driver, a person that owns this truck, was pumping gas.
No, KTLA. I love Gil, but it was like we were watching
with a gun and
Worldwide Wob NBA highlight.
We're told that the victim was not injured in this. No shots were fired. But again,
also you have Mike Rogers at the news desk too. So we got a whole bunch of new info.
They were able to get the license plate in the system, and Fontana PD officers spotted the truck, were able to get behind it, and here's where we're at now. So now we know that this alleged crime did happen tonight, and as we were kind of talking about, possibly at a gas pump. Now we know exactly where it happened. And again,
okay, did you guys hear that? Possibly armed robbery at a gas pump.
It definitely
sounds like they may have gotten in this Dodge Charger and driven away from it. So armed robbery, took the car, whatever.
This person is armed. As far as we know, one person inside this car, and we're talking about someone.
People getting onto the on-ramp, just blowing past them.
Capable of
this feels like an interchange.
Someone's car, pointing a gun at that person, again at gunpoint. And then
that's a good point. This person is comfortable enough that they just point a gun at someone and take their car. That is why you are seeing so many Fontana PD units engaged and not in tracking mode. But we are 101 northbound. We're going to be passing downtown Los Angeles here, folks, very soon. There is going to be a temporary flight restriction starting around midnight tonight, if I'm not mistaken. President of the United States, Joe Biden, will be visiting LA. I think that's why the entire weekend is going to have a no-fly zone for helicopters downtown LA, most of Los Angeles. So there's not going to be any chases this weekend unless they occur in like San Bernardino County or the Inland Empire or down in Orange County.
This could become a very dangerous situation, especially now that we have confirmation that this driver.
So this is probably going to be the last chase of the week right here, folks.
Station there in Fontana has a gun.
Are we off the freeway?
That's right.
No, we're
And,
just on. This is just
so,
101.
that
It looks like a
explains
parking
also
lot at all
why they're,
times.
hesitant to do the pit maneuver, and that also explains why Fontana really is sticking with this one and why they're not handling it off. You had a potentially violent crime.
That is the reason why, because this person is armed. They want him in their jurisdiction.
From end to end, and now we are getting into downtown Los Angeles. Might hit a little bit of traffic here as we come up on the 110, getting through the shuffle. You notice there, Fontana, they had to kind of, as they were coming in, you had lanes that come in from the northbound 101 south of the 10 freeway. They kind of come in on the left, so they had to kind of dart over.
This is downtown LA, people. Just passing Chinatown. You got overpasses, people walking around. Visitors here in LA, there's just a police chase going on. It's just a day ending in Y.
See, how many units we have involved here in this one as well. I count, at least half a dozen that are down there in this one, as we are nearly at the 110 freeway. And as we zoom back in here, on the speeds, it's only 30 miles an hour. Actually, kind of surprised. See if we're going to hit any kind of a backup at all as we approach that 110. Almost at the
21 minutes into the chase, people.
And if the suspect wanted to transition to the 110, they could hit either the northbound or southbound 110, but they're keeping it to the left of the freeway. So it looks like, barring any last-second maneuver, actually we just passed the option right there. So we are on our way to Hollywood now, northbound on the 101.
Headed to the most dense part of Los Angeles here. 101 Hollywood Bowl exit coming up on the 101 northbound. How many people from the LA area, you've probably passed this exit many times.
They're going to stop and maybe ditch this vehicle or, get away with a friend. Who knows if they're, in the car right now talking to someone about it. But, it is really curious because sometimes they don't know where they're going. They have no plan. And sometimes they're going to a familiar place.
Especially when we start crossing counties, right? When we get this far from where it started, you always are curious what their deal is, what their plan is. I'm listening to some CHP.
What's up, everyone? I know people are trickling in late.
Not being the pursuing agency,
we got ourselves a chase
for Fontana. So we're listening to some of the CHP units that are well behind these Fontana units.
Look at those cars on the on-ramp trying to seeing that there's a police chase unfolding before them pulling over. Now you're going to be stuck behind it. You should have sped up.
At these low speeds. So CHP's back there running a break.
This started all the way in Fontana. We were 10 westbound. All the way to downtown LA where we're at now, 101 northbound, not southbound like the graphic says. We are northbound 101.
Around 7:15 was there.
Headed towards Hollywood.
Pumping gas. Mike, talk about how police were able to...
you leave Denny's out of this.
After he carjacked the person with the truck and then hit the road, and you're saying no gunshots were actually fired during the carjacking?
Yeah, that's right, Chauncey. The victim, rather, was pumping gas, putting gas into this truck, which I also want to point out is concerning because now we think this truck probably has a decent amount of gas in it.
A lot of gas
in it at the time. So
full tank.
But yeah, that's when the suspect...
This one could go all night, people. What do you have better to do? It's Thursday night, 8:35 p.m. What do you have better to do?
911, and presumably he knew
we got a police chase.
Was able to relay that to police. And if not, gas stations are just covered in security cameras. It wouldn't take long at all for the gas station employee to play back that tape or recording and look at the license plate to give that to police if they didn't already have it.
Pickle Dustin asks, Bob, how are you so even-keeled? Perspective and apathy are superpowers, my friend.
Ever since. And I'm just going to look back really quick at the Fontana police helicopter, Eagle One, which is still...
It's 8:35 p.m. in the time zone that matters. The only time zone. The world operates on Pacific time.
It looks like this person did what he did, got on the freeway, and has not switched off of the 10 freeway for this entire chase, all the way through the San Bernardino County area into LA, through downtown. And now the only reason we're not on the 10 is because he ran out of the 10 and we're on the 101.
Yeah, it's true. And you wonder when this person is going to stop, if they will stop at any point before they run out of gas, because as Mike mentioned, this all happened at a gas station, and it's unclear if that person filled up all the way before they were actually carjacked, but it could be very well possible. If you're just joining us here on KCAL News Today, this is breaking news of a stolen pickup truck pursuit. The Fontana Police Department in pursuit all the way from the Inland Empire now into Los Angeles. As you can see, we are on the 101 North in Westlake now with the Fontana Police Department.
See that officer on the side? That doesn't look like Fontana PD at all. It might be CHP.
We saw a couple
Can't tell the difference.
Attempts, and we say attempts because there were a few, as far as we know, but they did not make contact.
And once again, this has been at an hour. We're here at an hour on this chase now. 7:15 is when police say this carjacking happened at the gas station. The suspect pointing a gun at the driver of this truck while they were pumping gas and then taking off.
Repping the squad tonight. 30-point victory for our Lakers. My Lakers.
We haven't seen a lot of high speeds
Right.
here. We
Is that-
want to go back
didn't
up
they
to,
win?
Sky Cal's Desmond Shaw as to your vantage.
That game's
point
still
and also
going
as
on?
to what we may be running to as we inch
Up by
closer
40.
and closer to downtown.
God damn.
Well, we are well past downtown now. We're on our way. We'll be in Hollywood soon. I can tell you what we're going to run into in SkyCal there as we get a great shot of, I believe that's the CHP.
Ooh, look at that beautiful CHP. Blue and white chopper. I saw that playing tennis today. My tennis partner. It's like, does that mean there's a police chase? And I look up and I said, no, because it was a black and white chopper. That's LAPD. Sheriff's Department is green and yellow, and CHP is blue and white. And that's how I can tell what's going on, depending on the jurisdiction. If you see a CHP helicopter fly overhead, there's one reason why it's there. And I don't live near no damn highway.
You could say no good deed goes unpunished as they're following the law and stopping. They see the red, blue lights coming, and they're stopping to let the pursuit go by them. Unfortunately, now, folks like this truck right here are going to be stuck in some pretty bad traffic.
You got to get ahead of it if you're on the on-ramp.
30 miles an hour, and CHP is holding all the lanes back. It's definitely going to back up the traffic here for everyone that is leaving downtown. Don't want to widen out too much, but trust me, there is definitely a backup there now extending coming out of downtown. And
Just another night on the 101, folks. There's traffic all night. All the way to the 405 interchange. She'll hit at some point. We're coming up to the Melrose Avenue exit, which will be followed soon by the Hollywood Bowl.
And not make any changes to the freeway at all. Just kind of
If he's for some reason got off there, it would be a shit show going around that part of Hollywood. That's like the corner of Highland and Hollywood and Sunset.
Have to wonder now if this person is just
Comes the Santa Monica Western Avenue exit.
to drag it out as long as possible.
Which we have also seen oftentimes.
Where pursuits go to die, the Cajon or the Tajon Pass.
It's true. Cascade.
Where,
That's true.
where chases go to
As we
die, the
continue to follow
Tajon
this here
Pass.
On KCAL News again, this is breaking news. This all started in Fontana at Citrus and Merrill.
A lot of helicopters can't go through the Cajon Pass.
Tonight, someone was carjacked, and this is the car that we're
Newhall
looking at.
Pass. What are the other ones? The one I mispronounced, not the Cayuga Pass. Cahuenga Pass. I always got to say the wrong one first. All those different, if you were to go north at all, we're headed into the mountains. And there's helicopter restrictions at night.
Inside their city, right, Mike?
Yeah, lots of times when we have these semi-smaller agencies, Fontana's a decent-sized agency, though, but you do see this where they don't want to give it up. And as Desmond mentioned, specifically in San Bernardino County, we have seen San Bernardino sheriff's deputies chase people all the way to the west end of the San Fernando Valley. I mean, those guys really don't like to give up chases, but a lot of these agencies are in that same boat. And, you know,
I wonder why they don't want to give up the chase.
They know
If you give it to a different jurisdiction, they can take the risk.
And
And
sometimes concerned that if they hand it off, maybe the other agency they hand it to won't be as aggressive as them. Maybe they won't chase it until they get this person
good
in
point.
custody. So I think
You
that's
can't
a little
trust
bit
the other
of that, that if
agencies
they're
to make the
comfortable with
arrest
chase,
and get
that
the
they
person
know
you
that they
want
will
in
be
your
there for the
jurisdiction.
resolution of it and hopefully take this person
And
in
then that
custody,
person could
hopefully
potentially
safely
come back
use
home
the
and
pull
wreak
over.
havoc.
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
especially in LA County law enforcement a little less tough on chases lately because of everything that's gone on. So when they come into LA County, Fontana PD may not want to give it up because they could be worried that one of the local agencies here wouldn't chase it the way they would.
Yeah, and as we've been talking about, you know, limited with officers' capabilities of what they can do to stop this car, right, Mike?
Right. Yeah, right. Because again, if this person now we are confident that they are armed based on what Fontana PD is telling us, they're going to sit here and try to continue to do these spike strips. And unfortunately for Fontana, they also have to rely on CHP for that. Of course, they've got a great working relationship with CHP, but again, it's not their agency. So right, they're banking on hoping CHP isn't doing other things. And actually, as I'm listening to this, I can hear the CHP dispatcher saying negative on spikes. We don't have anybody to come do a spike right now. So those are the kind of challenges that they're dealing with being out of their city. They can't direct their units to get ahead of this. To put spikes down, they're relying on CHP, who has other things going on in Southern California.
Fontana PD requesting
They've got
spike
stuff to
strips.
deal with as well.
CHP doesn't have any units that can lay them out. Did you guys hear that?
Mike, also
So we're going to be driving here for a little bit. Fontana staying engaged, but CHP, there's nobody around to set up.
You're hearing word that the driver is okay and no shots were fired, right?
Yeah,
Tony
correct.
Stank.
Fontana Police Department tells us that nobody was injured.
14 months and counting on a Tier 1 subscription.
That they were not injured, no shots were fired, which is
That's a
the good
marriage
news,
in a
but,
lot of
you know,
cultures.
I'm sure this person now stranded at the gas station. Maybe somebody came and picked him up, but knowing now that his truck is still involved in this
And a full
very
tank of
lengthy
gas.
pursuit,
We haven't had a marathon
almost
chase
an hour and a half after the truck
in
was
years.
Yeah, and it's unclear.
Marathon chase, I would say, north of 2 hours.
It's
been a long time since we've had a 2-hour chase.
Speeds plus, right? I mean,
We're at 30
usually
minutes
it's that
exactly
plus,
right
area
now.
That we're talking about with these
Ranger
chases,
just put a
but
prediction in the
it
chat.
seems that when the speeds are low like
Win
this,
channel
and
points
in
if you
any
make
other
the
case,
correct
they might
prediction.
be able to attempt a pit maneuver to turn this
Okay.
car around and get
30
it to
channel
stop.
points.
But in a case like this,
How
where
much
the
longer
person
from
they know
now
for a fact
will
is
the
armed,
chase
there was a
end?
carjacking
More than
involved.
15
They
minutes?
held a gun to
15
a
minutes or
person's head,
under. So the
possibly
over-under
tied
on the
and said,
chase
"Give me your
lasting is
car."
15 set by
under
Ranger
those
in the chat.
circumstances, it's gonna be a
Free
different
channel
situation for
points.
those officers
I don't know,
because they
what can you
also
use
put
those
themselves
channel
into
points
a
for,
predicament.
Ranger? Just like
Yeah,
highlighted
just was
text and
mapping,
stuff?
how far the gas
Do we have
station was from the
prizes we
freeway,
give away?
And it is just a little under 2 miles from where this happened to the freeway, and all this driver had to do was get on Citrus and drive straight south for 2 miles.
I think he
and hit the
shorted
freeway.
that,
So
Ranger.
you think about
I think it
what
needed
this
to be
person
30
has
minutes.
done. They've made a total of 2
You get
right
my
turns
money?
during this whole chase.
Oh, God.
One to get out of the parking lot of the gas station and one to get on the freeway. And that's all we've been doing the whole
I
time.
can make
And It
prizes.
seems like that Fontana police got on the suspect's tracks.
You could
pretty
add more
fast
stuff,
from
but there's
that
stuff
gas station.
people
Right,
can
yeah,
spend on.
especially,
Oh,
especially
okay.
considering it's only 2 miles. I mean,
Right.
that's not if the person.
If I need to
slow
set up
the
a
whole time, they give
contest
a
or
little bit more time.
prizes
But
or
yeah,
something,
only 2 miles
is that-
from the freeway.
can I do that in
And
Twitch?
Let me just look
Is that-
and see
is that a
how
thing?
far within the city of Fontana. It's kind of in the middle of Fontana, but kudos to those officers for getting towards the gas station pretty quickly to be able to find this car.
Yeah, let's go back upstairs to Desmond Shaw live in SkyCal. We are in the Hollywood Hills area now, right?
Highland Avenue, Hollywood Hills. Here we go,
Susie
folks.
and Chauncey,
Coming up to the bowl.
We are leaving Hollywood now. This is the end of the Highland on-ramp there, where it comes up on the left end of the freeway, one of the busiest ramps in Los Angeles. I'm sure we've all experienced that wonderful ramp many times at rush hour.
Many
And
times.
So, it is CHP that
Used to
is in
live-
the
this used to be my
background,
101
but trying to
entrance ramp when I was
hold,
living in West Hollywood.
everyone back from that. It's just kind of crazy as someone who has logged many tens of thousands of miles in LA. The difference between 5 seconds time
Wab bucks.
be the difference between losing a
True
half hour
bucks,
or more
but
of your
wab
life.
bucks.
People that you just saw that was zoomed ahead of this to get ahead of this suspect are now going to get to wherever they're trying to get to in a reasonable amount of time.
Oh, God.
Whereas the folks
Homework?
that yielded now, they are going to be stuck in this nasty little backup behind the suspect, depending on where
Hello, Wob.
they decide
I'm
to
in
go
this
from
truck
here.
right
We'll
now.
be coming up
I'm
to the
not
Hollywood
sure where to
Springs
go
soon,
from here.
where
Any
they can
suggestions?
continue
What would the
for
chat?
onto
Our
West
chat is
70
very
northbound
well
transition
educated
to
now.
the Ventura
Chat,
section
if
of
you were the
101,
driver,
northbound
where would you
101.
go?
Sometimes we call it the westbound 101 to differentiate the
Two
two
correct
as we head,
answers.
through the San Fernando Valley. So we will see it. It looked like I saw a little bit of debris kicking up
Other
back
than
there.
Downey.
The suspect
Sorry,
might have
3
hit
correct
some
answers.
minor debris there in the roadway. I was just stopping to see what that was, but
Not
like it
Denny's.
was anything major. And so now we are officially in the San Fernando
Not
Valley.
pay and spray. The
Fortunately for
answer,
us,
you go to
not
LAX.
this too bad.
There's a
Hopefully it
tunnel
continues
off
in the
of
case
Imperial and
others.
Aviation Boulevard that you will want to go through because you can ditch the helicopters there. And restricted airspace, the helicopters can't chase you there. Or you want to probably go to downtown LA where there's a lot of tall buildings. It's tough for the helicopters to track you driving around all the side streets. And then you want to end up in a parking garage where you can ditch your vehicle because the helicopters can't see inside the parking garage. So when you get out of the parking garage, try and blend in with the public and hope that they didn't see you get out and be able to identify you. We've seen it at the Grove multiple times. People go into a parking garage and then they just go into the middle of a mass amount of people and they just blend in. Plain sight.
Right.
Seen a Paul Walker challenge? Someone got away recently.
The Fontana Police Department is asking for them right then.
Right, and the only good thing that not the only, but one of the good things that Fontana has going for them is because of the ground that we've covered, we're continuously entering new CHP areas. So we've gone through Baldwin Park, we've gone through East LA, we've gone through downtown, and now, or the central CHP office, and now we're coming into the West Valley CHP office as we enter the San Fernando Valley. So Fontana is going to have a whole another set of CHP units that they can try to get to bring, knock on their door and say, hey, you want some, come play with some spike strips, to try to get this to come to an end. The other thing that I was looking at, Des, I think his hazard lights have been on the entire time that we've been looking at.
Are those
Which
hazards?
is also kind of
Yeah, those are
as well.
hazards.
Yes, you're right. You know, sometimes we see this really silly
Okay,
stuff.
we are
with
past
the,
Hollywood, headed towards
pursuit
Studio
suspects.
City.
It's the hazards on the whole
So,
line, turn
we're headed
signal,
through
the
the
white
pass
blades
now.
Or whatever. That is, you know, definitely the case.
Is this
I'm
the
kinda getting
Cajon
the
Pass?
impression that this person is just kind of zoning out right now, and this is, you know, kind of what we
Getting
might
near, like,
qualify as
Mulholland
just
Drive.
kind of a joyride pursuit. Not to make too light of it, because it was taken under serious circumstances. But you know, we've just got these low speeds with the driver just seems to kind of be zoning out. I mean, other than dodging
Or
a couple
find
of
a big
spike strip
pursuit
attempts,
tree.
not changing lanes, not doing anything crazy, not going 100 miles an hour, not zigging and zagging all over the place. The only I don't know that I've seen a single lane change during this entire pursuit.
Okay,
other than to
right
try
lanes
to
101,
evade those
left
spike
lanes
strips. So
southbound to the
center lane right
110.
here,
Let's
is
see what we
going
have
to
coming up
take
here.
us to
101 on the right.
northbound 101, I believe.
He's got an
Is
interchange
those
coming
two
up here.
lanes to the left are what transition to the 170 section of the Hollywood Freeway, which would take us to the 5. So we're going to find out here very quickly.
Lanes,
We're gonna be headed northbound on the 170,
if that's a 4-lane highway,
or
lanes 3 and
westbound
4 are
on
taking you
101.
to the
And that's what I was
110.
just about to talk about the lane changes. Is a suspect.
He's in the 101
Same
lane.
that
You see the
went
dashes
all the
there?
way
He's
through,
staying
going
he's
back
staying on the
over right
101.
now. Historically, you know, allegedly this was a very violent carjacking involving a gun with the owner of this car. You know, the ones that I've covered here so far, only been here a few weeks, but it seems like when it's under those circumstances, the suspect normally drives a little faster and doing.
I forgot about this is the new guy.
But it seems like this suspect is just.
He came
kind of
from Houston,
cruising
right?
the top.
I was going to mention that, yeah. Chuck,
He's already
you're right.
had, like, 5
Generally,
chases he's had to do.
Violent crime leads to a pretty wild chase.
Right.
It's not
Cahuenga
usually,
Pass.
give me your car, I've got a gun, and now I'm going to drive
Chauncey,
40 miles an
that's his
hour
name.
for an hour and a half.
So
that's
smart.
usually not the case when we cover these chases. So it does make you. I mean, we can never get into the mind of a pursuit suspect here and know why they're doing what they're doing, but it does make you even more curious that when they go to that length to commit, allegedly commit that kind of violent crime, their behavior during that crime doesn't really seem to match their behavior during this chase, which is different. And you know what? It looks like CHP may be done running those brakes, because now we're getting into that situation. You have that civilian car there to the right of the frame that looked like they were trying to inch up. Yeah, right there on the top.
What?
Trying to inch up and get.
They're getting really close.
It's just so curious to me why people do that. But there you go. Now you got a CHP unit back there running it. And this is
I was
again,
about to
we're
say,
entering a
it
different
was getting
office
really
of
close
CHP.
there.
We're in their West Valley office now.
We are, a good 60 some miles away from Fontana, where this all started tonight. So not only the CHP officers who have been helping along the way from different agencies, or different jurisdictions, I should say, but from also the Fontana Police Department, who has not given this one up. They want to get this guy themselves. They have asked the CHP to run those traffic breaks. They've asked them to provide spike strips when they can. And we have seen several of those attempts that have not been successful, unfortunately. But this person has been driving at this rate, under 50 miles on the freeway for a while now. And, I know a lot of people at home are going, just pit this guy, just push him from the back and make him turn around and stop this car, and let's just stop this chase. But really, officers, they have a very methodical operation when they do all this, and they're all in communication right now as to what they want to do next and what they're going to attempt and what they can and cannot. Obviously, with this guy armed and this person with a gun, certainly the limited options are what we're talking about.
And they're also going to weigh risk versus reward. We're
Absolutely.
going 50 miles an hour on the freeway. CHP is doing a good job of controlling the traffic behind him. What is the benefit? Risk versus reward of you pit him out and he's got that gun and something terrible happens. Or we sit here, we wait him out, we let him run out of gas, and we just let this thing kind of play out in a slower manner. If this person was driving at extremely high speeds, super endangering the public, not that this isn't doing that, but, weaving in and out of traffic, those kinds of things, then,
Miami-Dade, this person would have flipped over 3 times by now.
Somebody who's driving 35 miles an hour with no traffic near them, why not? Why not let them and just let them run out of fuel and be done with this eventually?
Again, with a gun involved, that
Right.
is that careful, methodical operation that we're talking about, because it is so delicate when you think about a person who knows what kind of state of mind they're in right now, and with a gun, what they could possibly do.
Armed and dangerous,
Yeah, we
folks.
talked about the
Armed
police
and
strategy too, Mike, and
dangerous.
you were explaining this. Whenever you put those spike strips down and the car hits it, it tends to turn that car around, and now you have the suspect facing those officers who is possibly armed with a gun.
Right, and again, if this is, sorry, I was listening to the radio real quick. Especially when you're talking about a situation that this is what they call a fresh crime, right? This isn't something that happened a couple days ago. They probably have no idea who this suspect is. They have no idea who this person is, and so they probably are not able to run any kind of background information on them. Do they know their history? Do they know if they've had violent tendencies before? When all of those are unknown, and as you mentioned, Chauncey, doing a pit maneuver would have that suspect facing the officers, they're gonna take their time and let this play out.
Absolutely. Well, this has been going on and playing out for more than an hour now.
You're gonna have to be more specific, C. Smith. That happens.
Approaching the 9 o'clock hour for KCAL News
That
at
happens
9
a lot.
with Pat Harvey and Juan Fernandez. But tonight we're talking about this stolen pickup truck pursuit, and this has been breaking news for the good part of an hour now. The Fontana Police Department in Chase tonight.
Headed
and
towards
they're
Sherman
not
Oaks,
giving this
folks.
one up. It
We're
all
gonna be
started
going by
with
Calabasas.
carjacking in their city.
Gonna be
at
going
Citrus
by,
and Merrill at a gas station around 7:15.
where did
A man who was
Bronny
pumping
James go to
gas
high
was
school?
carjacked by this
Sierra
person we believe
something?
is driving this car tonight. And they took off on the freeway, as Mike was saying, just about 2 miles off the freeway there from the gas station there.
Sierra
so it was
Canyon,
not a
thank you.
difficult move for this person to get on the freeway. And we have been on the freeway this entire time. Usually,
Coming up.
we see them exiting a few times, maybe on a surface street, just to ditch officers and maybe test them and see how much they can, get away with. But this person has been on the freeway, adamant about staying on the freeway, only changed once onto the 101 from the 10 freeway, and this is where we still are tonight. And in Sherman Oaks now, again, this all started,
I know it,
a
obviously.
good 60 plus miles away. In
My
the
brain
city
is
of
mush.
Fontana
I
tonight.
can't think right now.
We want to go back over to Mike Rogers, and Mike, once again, this all starting with that carjacking at the gas station and how police were able to.
Does feel like a two-star
get with
chase,
this
but
suspect and track
the
him
chase is
down,
2-star, but the
pretty
want
quick.
is
You're talking
3.
about 2 miles
We're talking
away from that
about
gas station.
armed
Yeah, and-
robbery
and,
here.
Des, what's happening on
2-star
sorry,
is like
the
tracking
east side of
mode.
or the south side of the 101
Kind of let the
is
guy
all
go
James's too.
and follow up with this later.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little fender bender there, and CHP was running a traffic brake to try to get them off of the freeway. So,
Well, I'm sure this will-
There was an-
unrelated
there was another-
issue there. Yeah, right.
So anyway, Chauncey, only 2 miles from the gas station to the on-ramp of the 10 freeway, where presumably this happened. So that's not
I don't
long at
know
all
the answer
for
to
this
that
victim
question.
to
If
call
KCAL
911,
will keep going
dispatchers to
past
get officers out there, and
Ventura.
officers
We've seen
stop-
Eliana go all the way up to
stop and try
Oxnard
initiate
at
a
like
stop. You
midnight.
probably had an officer that maybe was
So
already in the area, or one that was already on the freeway.
she's
or something
Frodo
like
on
that.
Lord of the
Even
Rings
one,
shit.
Good old
she'll go all the way to Mordor.
One has been over this the entire time. They're the Fontana PD helicopter now in Sherman Oaks, but even there, I'm looking.
That's
where
right.
they
5 more
started
minutes
following
until
this,
you
and,
people who bet the
they
over
were-
cash
they
your
were
channel
over the
points.
freeway, maybe 2 miles from a mile from where the suspect presumably got on the freeway. So it didn't take long for the helicopter to get there either.
Yeah, it's true. And,
I gotta beat
Desmond,
GTA
if you can just,
5
kind of
first.
run us
I'm only
through,
like
where
30% of the
we've
way
been
through it.
And it's the slow speeds that we've been going at. But
If I'm in a
covering
chase,
the
what
distance.
music are you putting on? That's the easiest answer in the
Yeah,
world.
I mean, we are really just
Nelly,
cruising through
Murphy Lee, Shaky Tail
several
Feather.
different counties now. We may be headed for our third county, San Bernardino, LA
Bum,
County,
bum,
and Ventura
bum,
County. If we
bum,
continue
bum,
at this clip, we've
bum,
passed a
bum.
bunch of different freeways. We're on the 10. We've basically been on kind of the same stretch of asphalt the entire time because the suspect has just kind of been sticking to the middle lane, and whatever freeway that happens to, that stretch of concrete happens to take the suspect, that seems to be where they're headed. That went West 10, North 101, and then Northwest 101 into the San Fernando Valley. We'll be coming up to the 405 here pretty shortly. So we have covered, a lot of distance. But these trucks, and considering that this was taken, at a gas
Freebird's a
station,
good one.
going this slow, and if the tank was close to full, this truck has got a long distance to go. I mean, they could make it all the way to San Luis Obispo or even further potentially.
That's
So
far
we'll
as
just have to
shit.
see
We're not going all the way to San Luis
that goes. Unfortunately, we would not
Obispo.
have enough fuel to do that, but we would take this probably as far as the west end of Ventura.
There's your answer.
Up towards, and once you get north of Ventura there, it unfortunately gets a little bit too dark for us. We'll just have to see how this all plays out. But just kind of looking at the way that this is shaping up right now, well, let's see. Here's the option for the 405.
Ooh.
And,
Ooh.
okay, it looks like
Getting
we'll be
off.
making the transition here to either the north or south 405.
We're rooting for South,
let's,
people.
See what the suspect
South will
thinks
take us
is
back
gonna
towards the
be.
city. We don't have to worry
See
about
if
going
we'll
outside
take
of
that
helicopter
either the
range.
North or south.
We need
405
south.
here. So to West LA or north towards the 5 freeway. We'll see. And we'll see how, CHP gets in and coordinates the traffic break with all
That
of
looks
this.
like north to me.
So, and it's northbound. We're northbound 405 towards Van Nuys, Granada Hills, the 118, and the 5 freeway.
And now we're running into traffic in which we haven't seen here during this chase. Actually, having
Damn
traffic.
pursuit trees.
Mike Rogers from the
Damn it, these
beginning,
pursuit trees are
the
huge.
Suspect getting on the freeway seems like the entire time. Most
We
of
have
the
pursuit
long
tree
traffic
ugly Christmas
stay
sweaters
right
for
there
those
in
of
the
you.
middle lane.
Yeah, and already a kind of different situation.
Just
there on
joining us,
405.
birdsintheair.com.
This is the first
New merch just
what
dropped.
seems to be conscious decision he's made to make a lane change.
Yeah, 405's gonna
freeways,
it's gonna
what
end
have you
in the near
here.
future,
entire
and it's
time
gonna
he's been on
interchange to the
10.
5.
The 10 forced him onto the 101 because the 10 ended in downtown LA. This is the first time we've actually seen him change lanes and actively choose.
started
a kind of
in
different freeway to
Fontana
get onto the 405.
area.
Now going on to the 405 North.
And Desmond, what are we talking about here when we look ahead as to where the suspect may be going as far as the traffic that we might run into?
Traffic is pretty light up ahead. There's definitely quite a few cars, but considering that, they're only going 45 miles an hour. I mean,
Prediction
all the
results are
traffic
in.
ahead is
More
going
than
much
15
quicker,
minutes
so
has cashed.
The suspect isn't even really likely to
Congratulations
run into
to
any other
everyone that
cars,
just won channel points.
Going this direction, even at this late hour. Of course, it is still the 405, so you're still going to see quite a few vehicles out there.
He
moving
did
at full speed.
732,000
people going 65,
channel
he's
points
only
to
going
Cactus
40, so
Jack?
that's why it looks like
How much
they
did
have
you
an
bet?
open, empty
How do you
freeway,
have
but
all
you
those
also have
points?
CHP holding everybody back. So, this could be another good opportunity for a spike strip with all of that.
Ranger, remind me to
asphalt
never
in between,
let you be a
or
bookmaker.
concrete, I should say, this section of the 405. We'll see if that is in the offing. The 405 connects with the 118, giving us options for Simi Valley to the west.
Okay,
or
118 will
eastward.
take us towards Palmdale, if I'm not
Or if
mistaken.
they continue with the 405, that'll merge onto the northbound 5. And so there is still the possibility that the suspect is going to head towards the Newhall Pass and points farther to the north.
Oh,
Okay,
total. Okay.
Desmond Shaw, hi. It's Pat Harvey joining you.
Oh, DJ Ryerson's had enough of Chief of Staff. 100 subs given out by DJ Ryerson. More subs. W's in the chat as he has just hit the 100 sub mark in Birds in the Air Police Chase
Want to
Live.
pick up the coverage with where he is exactly right now. Desmond, I think you said 405 north. He transitioned from the 101 freeway, which, as you mentioned, you named a number of options that this driver has at this hour. Doesn't seem to be driving very fast from what I'm seeing here. I'm just getting at the desk here. It seems like he's even driving below the speed limit.
Yep, it has really just been a slow kind of a cruise along here as we are northbound on the 405. This has been the pace all the way from
Hero
Fontana.
says, saw a
So
guy the other day in New York with a merch shirt. Did you really? Gotta grab a picture.
We have been
You gotta go up to someone like that and tap him on the shoulder.
I think about
Like,
40 minutes now.
Ejectocito?
So
Ejectocito.
actually, I don't say getting pretty close to an hour now on this.
I got myself a
pursuit
fur
with the
missile-
hazard lights. They've been
fur
on
missile
the
sweatshirt.
entire time. It's kind of one of those strange ones. The character of a pursuit can change at any moment, though. There's times where suspects go really, really slow, and all of a sudden they slam on that gas pedal, and everything changes, Or other times where they're going 100 miles an hour, and then they pull over, and it's over. You just never know what's
can't-
going to
hold
happen
on.
from 1 second to the next. But Fontana is saying,
It's Skip
we are gonna
with the
take
fur
this
missile
as
shirt.
far as we have to take it. I guess who knows? Maybe we'll see who runs. If it's
Permiso!
the suspect in the Toyota, or if it's Fontana PD's cruisers that are out here. They do have quite a few. There's at least 6 of them that are in tow.
Where's a good boy?
Running the traffic brake. So we just crossed Sherman Way right now. Northbound 405. We'll have the suspect will have another decision to make once they get to the 118.
Good boy, Skip.
Well, you know what? They certainly have committed quite a bit of law enforcement out there. You're talking about PD. And
Great quality, by the way.
CHP,
I don't mean to pat myself on the
CHP
back, but
is
the
involved
quality
in
of
a
the
lot
shirts
on
and
the freeway.
sweatshirts is top
But
notch.
seem like they may be more inclined.
Yeah, you
to
better
do
believe
something to
I'm
try to
tapping you
stop
on the
this.
shoulder
And
if I
you
see an
mentioned that
Ejecto Cedo
they've got
shirt in the
break.
wild.
So they're keeping traffic behind. What does it look like ahead, Des?
It's pretty empty up ahead by virtue of the suspect driving so slowly. Traffic was moving at pretty much full speed, so you've got everyone up ahead, way ahead now, going 65 miles an hour, and no one being allowed
Sabby
to get in front of the
Telfair.
suspect.
There's a
So it,
name.
kind of creates this illusion of
How many people are old enough for Sabby
magnificently
Telfair?
wide open 405, like I'm sure all of us wish we could experience on pretty much any other hour of the day here.
That's right.
So that's what
Goddamn,
we're looking at right now.
Solana
There were a couple
is
of spike strip
pumping
attempts
right
earlier
now.
on the 10. One, I believe, in Rosemead, and then another one.
Solana up to 72, by the way.
Neither spike strip was successful. We haven't
Moon.
got any other imminent attempts right now, as Mike was
Have
saying.
I bought any new shoes lately? No, but I want some Sabrina 1s, damn it.
CHP officers are available.
Can someone help me? If I'm an 11 in men's, what should I buy what size should I buy in women's? Every time I look up the chart, it doesn't tell me what it translates
I see you
to.
over there nodding your head.
Yeah, Pat, you were talking about all the resources that have kind of committed to this, and we are in the north end of Van Nuys,
12 and a half.
to the east of Van Nuys Airport.
So
And I
it's
wanted
a
to
size and a half
Mike,
bigger?
show my computer here. I just want to show you the trail from the Fontana PD helicopter. It's Eagle 1. It's this one right here. And if we
12
zoom
and a
out,
half, 13.
you see
Okay.
just how long Eagle 1 has been following this
11
chase
is 12 and a half.
all along the 10 freeway,
Okay,
the
thank you,
101
guys.
freeway, all the way back into here in Fontana. They took off out of San Bernardino Airport. For reference,
No,
the
those
chase,
reverse Grinches,
or the stolen vehicle,
They're so they're so red in person. They're even redder than the pictures. They're arrest me red shoes. I can't. They look like you're wearing Starburst.
To be able to catch up with it, and they have been in tow the entire time, zigging. And
Yeah, I would love to
zagging. You see them
customize,
making
but
these
they don't
loops here
sell the
because of slow
customizable
speeds.
Sabrina ones
This
anymore.
car's
They
going
sold
around
out of
the
those
corner, it's
things.
Going through the downtown area, and now you've got the CHP helicopter right
What
here.
Mike Rogers
It's
is using
also
right now, by the way, if you guys are interested in this, it's called Flight Radar 24. It's free to use. You can
Okay,
track
well,
planes and
they have their reasons
helicopters,
for
and you
doing
can
that, Mike,
follow.
but again,
That's how
we've
you can
seen
tell
time and
if a
time
chase is
again,
happening or
even in
ending. Well,
situations
it looks like he was out the
this,
window
it's
there for a
stolen
second.
pickup truck, the driver is armed, but if they have not put anyone else in danger, pulled that weapon on anyone, sometimes they will pull off.
Right,
If it's dangerous.
and to be honest, I wonder if that's a concern of Fontana PD and why Fontana PD hasn't given it up. Other agencies may not chase as hard as they will, especially in San Bernardino County. Those agencies generally will be involved in pursuits longer than some of the LA County agencies will.
And the fact that they know that this person is armed.
Longest chase ever? It's got to be. We had a standoff. It includes the standoff. We had to wait on the Bearcat to get there. And the crane guy, that was those were 4-hour chases. We're at 52 minutes right now, so 4 times as long.
And that could also play a role in this. So obviously, as you mentioned, Pat, a lot we don't know.
You know what, Des? I don't know. I almost thought that this cruiser is speeding up here, trying to get closer to this truck.
It
Right?
does seem that
That's
way,
what it looks
doesn't
like.
it? It's getting up on the back right quarter panel
It
there.
does kind of look like it, yeah.
There's oncoming traffic though. What's he planning on doing right here? Just getting a peek? He's got his own little mini night sun out the window. He's using his light to look in the cab, I think.
Right inside.
Yep, just turned the light off, turned it back on. See that? The Fontana PD officer? That little mini night sun, he's blasting him with it.
A gun around or something like that. See if they can take the opportunity with these slower speeds to do a little bit of recon. So we are crossing the 118 now, or preparing to anyway, as we're coming up to Devonshire. And unless the suspect makes any sudden movements, they're going to be continuing northbound 405, and they'll be dumped out onto the northbound 5, headed towards the Santa Clarita Valley. Just listening to
What
a
shoes
little
am I
bit of,
hooping in right now?
CHP radio traffic here talking.
I haven't been playing
just
much
about
basketball
the,
'cause I'm
the traffic
kinda worried
breaks
about
that they're
getting hurt.
coordinating, back in there. As
When I
like, one,
do,
you can see
it would
all
be
the units
in
that are involved in this one.
LeBron
And,
Soldier
below that, wide open
10s
pavement for the
or
suspect
Jordan
as they
11s.
continue. And
No,
as
I'm
we
sorry,
cross
Jordan
Devonshire,
13s.
The next junction will be at the
I think they're
118.
13s.
As we make our way into Mission Hills, and on this trajectory, looks like we may be headed for Somar and beyond.
You know, and guys, I'm sure you probably.
I got old man worries. When you get old like this, you have to worry about pulling something when you get out of bed. You get out of bed incorrectly, you could blow your knee out. I'm not even shitting you.
I wouldn't say so. I
have to slowly like lift myself up and warm up the diesel engine.
Vehicle, but I wouldn't think that they wouldn't do a pit. I think if the reason they're not doing a pit is probably because he's armed.
Because of the weapon.
Yeah.
All right, just
I mean, we're doing 23 miles an hour right now. A pit, I don't even know what a pit's going to accomplish other than pissing him off.
Down to 20,
We're,
down to 20 miles
it's like
an
he's
hour,
letting that
and
Fontana
back up
PD
again.
officer get a look at him.
I don't
A
know,
lot of temptation
some of
going on
these
here in
suspects,
this
they really
chase.
like to taunt CHP when they are running away from them. I did see they rolled down the window and had a
I don't like the
little bit of a
Grinches or
ambush
the
in
reverse
there,
Grinches.
for a
Sorry, I'm
moment,
just,
and then looked
I like the
they rolled window
Mambacitas,
back up,
but
and so
just can't get in. The
Yeah,
Grinches
I
are
mean,
so
mostly
bright. And I like
yeah, it's
loud
just kinda- I don't know if he
shoes,
was just
but
kinda waving
I
his
don't
hand
like
out the window
neon
or what
shoes.
Exactly that was. There you see that CHP unit there. So indeed, we are crossing the 118. So there's a CHP unit that's getting ready to come in.
Appreciate
and they're
you,
gonna
Sassy's
take over that
knack
traffic
pack.
break. I heard them talking about that on
Hopefully,
the radio. So it sounds
I don't know
like
what
they're
a knack
switching
pack
out
is.
units and putting in a fresh
Probably
set
get me canceled.
of wheels in there to run the traffic break to make sure that no one gets involved in this in any way. So we are now, unless the suspect gets off the freeway.
No,
we
I don't
will be
like
hitting the
Kobe's
northbound
in-game.
5,
They don't have
and then
any
we
ankle
the junction
protection.
Of the 5 and the 14, Newhall Pass. Will we head to Canyon Country or will we head to Santa Clarita? Oh, there's also the 210 West if they wanted to bend back around and double back out of Somar back towards Pasadena. That would also be
Old
an
Dirty
option
Washer says, I put
as
the
we,
birds in the air
make
merch
our way
on
to
my
north.
Elfster wish list. I hope someone buys it for me.
And Mike, has this
Maybe someone will.
driver been driving this speed limit most of the
Well,
time?
they have the
So
Sabrina
we haven't
ones for
seen any
customization on the
really
Nike
fast
app right now.
around
Yeah,
the
but
track.
when you try and check out, it says sold out.
Marking
You
about
can
it. Got on the
customize, but you
10
can't check them out
Fontana
unless
and
I'm
took the 10
mistaken.
freeway all the way into downtown. As long as we've been over it, it's been these speeds. The only reason he really got on the 101 is because the 10 ended and he had to go into downtown, and they kind of forced him onto the 101 a little bit there. And then the only real conscious decision we saw him make was to get onto the 405 North. He actively moved over lanes to do that, but that was really the first time we actually saw that. Otherwise, he kind of had just gone with the flow and took the 10 as it merged into
No,
the 101.
I will never
Obviously, the 10
wear
gets
any
into Santa
J's that
Monica,
aren't
but they just kind of
actual
pushed him up into
J's.
the 101, and that's where he went. And I also wanted to point out, Pat, Desmond
Zions,
mentioned you have that
Lucas,
CHP
Tatum's,
that is swapping out because we've gone into different CHP areas. CHP in this is only running the brake; they're not actively in this pursuit. So while CHP has the luxury of swapping their officers out,
Yeah,
to keep them
that might
from
be
getting
the God
fatigued,
honest truth.
These are the same Fontana
After
PD
Jays,
officers that have been chasing this guy.
Jays are in a class of their own.
Almost 2 hours now.
That second tier is like Kyrie has that second tier
They're not, they're not
on
gonna give
permanent
it up. This is
lockdown.
something
Every
that
single
they
one of
said
those
that they wanna
shoes
keep. The
is
CHP has
comfy,
asked them a couple
and
of times
they
if
look great.
Want them to take it over, and
I still wear
Fontana
Kyrie
said,
4s
"Nope,
to
we're
this
gonna-
day
sorry, we
that
wanna stay
haven't
with
lost any
Okay,
support
the
at
fact
all.
that
Those
CHP is
are
helping
best
them in terms
shoes.
of running that
Sabrina's
break.
might get there.
They
What are we
obviously
doing here, by
requested
the way?
for that.
They did, yeah, and because Fontana, we're obviously well away from
Yeah.
Fontana now. So
118 interchange is coming up, and the 405 is going to end, and it's going to dump you to the 5. We're all the way up in Mission Hills.
Luxury, so they need that other agency that's ahead of the pursuit to be able to come in and put those spike strips down, which they've been trying to do. But we haven't seen, as Desmond mentioned, we haven't seen a spike strip since before downtown, and that's because every time they ask CHP doesn't have any officers.
Anonymous
close
gifter.
enough to get into
Shout out
place
to you.
put a spike strip down.
All right, because I'm looking
Yeah,
at
I heard
is that
PGs are comfy
CHP
too.
right behind this
I got to get
vehicle?
me some Sabrinas because those
No,
are
right
supposedly
now
the
it's
nuts.
Fontana.
It's Fontana right behind it. All right,
Yeah.
well, that makes a big difference
Right.
then in terms of getting out there and being
That's
able to
CHP on the other side there, right there.
Ooh,
try to get ahead,
CHP.
passing.
Yep. So
CHP, maybe with a spike strip,
I think
perhaps.
I think they're going to be running a traffic break here, kind of on these. So these are the lanes at the end of the northbound 405 coming into the northbound 5. So you have that unit there who is on that other side of the split.
That's
to
a
get
good
in so
take,
that they can kind of coordinate
bro,
that extended
kid.
traffic
Get
break.
the
We have a
spike
lot of
strips
lanes
ready at the
on
5
section of
interchange.
5 right here as we get up
Well,
from the 210.
this is the
and
5
14.
interchange.
I did just hear a CHP officer I heard that the dispatcher asking, is there anybody available who has a spike? And there was one who said that they are standing by with one. So
That was probably the guy that just
up,
went speeding by. Might be
as
setting up a
we
spike
make our
strip here
way
in a
now
couple of
into
minutes.
the Newhall Pass again. First, we'll
We're
be
in the Newhall
junction of
Pass.
The 210, and then you have the 14-5 split as we climb into the Newhall Pass. Let's see what the
The
suspect
118,
decides to do
the
here.
14, and the
Pass by
5 are your
Roxford.
remaining
So,
freeway
has the
options.
option here for the 210 back towards the Somar on this one.
Oh, I didn't know
Maybe getting over
210
to
goes
the
all the way
left.
up here?
Let's see. It looks like they're probably going to be sticking with the North 5 here.
Ugh, that's the
What
worst.
would be
We don't want the
easier
5
for
northbound.
law
5
enforcement
northbound will
to
take
do
us all the
that
way
is
to
a
fucking
wide
Seattle.
stretch of freeway there. What would be an option for them that they would like better in terms of sticking with the 5 or heading?
Because if he were to change to the 210, it would take him south back to the
I
city.
would say maybe the 210 just because it would be less congested. With the 5, you're going to have a lot of truck traffic that you're going to be dealing with. Although, because we're dealing with these really slow speeds, the suspect is really kind of giving the CHP some easier options as far as spike strips go, just kind of creating a lot of wide open conditions ahead. But, with the 5, if we go past Castaic, which, we will not be going north of Castaic for safety reasons, but climbing the Grapevine, it is a lot darker up there, obviously pretty steep as well. So, I mean, if CHP had to have that kind of Faustian choice, I would say that they would prefer that the suspect go 210. But they're going to be prepared no matter, obviously what direction the suspect seems to go.
Yeah, I think
which
we have
looks like
4
it's
networks
going to be
live
the,
right
northbound
now.
5 as we
My
pass
guess
by
is
the
Eliana
right
stays with
there.
it the
Maybe
longest.
that might hasten them in throwing down another spike strip.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was going to point out, and Desmond mentioned it.
I can
if we get
log
to
into my
Castaic,
Nike
we can't
and
go any
customize?
further because of the darkness. I don't know.
Well, then I will be doing that this evening.
I don't know that I've ever seen Fontana do night operations with Eagle One, but at H51, the CHP ship is still there. Do you know? Are they able to fly over the Grapevine there at night, or is Fontana going to lose their air support if they go that far?
I believe that they are equipped with night vision. I know that certainly LAPD is. I actually just heard them saying something about night vision. So we'll. Okay, yeah. So we heard a little bit of chatter right there. So Eagle One, apparently, the one from Fontana, does not have night vision, but Dylan was hearing that the CHP does. So, and that's another thing. They've had not just all these resources on the ground, but they've had 2 helicopters on this one. At one point, 3 helicopters on this, but we've had at least 2 helicopters.
Fontana
on this,
PD is a long
the
way from
entire
home.
time. You bet. Yeah, we are on our way well into the Newhall Pass here.
All right,
You
well,
figure
that gets
Fontana
pretty
PD
close
has to
that
drop, and then,
continues.
yeah,
As
you would
said,
get
that's gonna make
CHP
it
Newhall,
difficult, not only
the
for
Newhall
us to
division for
fly,
sure.
Of course, but even as it gets darker, it's going to be more difficult for law enforcement as well to make some decisions.
Looks like
some
Fontana's
decisions
dropping out.
as to what they can do. It's interesting to me. Again,
Maybe
Greg
CHP will
Ross,
turn up the
when
heat on
Desmond
this a
was
little
kicking
bit.
off how many helicopters, how many ground units are involved here. It's like, okay, they want to get something done to stop this.
So what's interesting is Eagle One it's ironic we were just talking about them. Eagle One is Fontana PD's helicopter. They just pulled off and they're actually headed back south. That might be a fuel situation. Who knows? It looks like
Anthony
CHP's
25, what are you
helicopter is
talking
still
about?
With it. But Des, as I'm sitting
Glad
here
to know
thinking, too,
it does
even
appear.
though CHP can fly into the darkness, they've been up for this entire chase. They launched out of Fullerton. I don't know that they'll have the fuel to make it across the Grapevine to go land somewhere in Kern County to refuel because they have been up for a significant amount of time as well. Oh, it looks like we're
Having a little.
Yeah, we're going to start losing our signal. As we go more into the Newhall Pass, we're going to lose our signal.
With our signal, which is not unusual. You've been hearing us talking about how difficult it is.
Okay,
further
hold
you
on,
get up,
people. Now I gotta start
the 5
paying
freeway.
attention here.
That could certainly be a transmission problem, but I can hear Desmond faintly trying to get back on the air with us. Are you back,
Yeah.
Des?
Okay.
I think you guys got us now, Pat. Yeah, we just had to do a little. Had to switch our transmitter there. So here we go. Northbound 5 through the 4, right up by the 14. You see those elevated carpool lanes there. So we are. Stick with us here. We have to contend with this elevated carpool lane until we get past the 14, which is right there. So indeed, the suspect sticking with the 5. They had the option there for the 210 or the 14 headed towards Canyon Country or the Antelope Valley. It is certainly trending like, unless something changes here, that this suspect is just going as far as they could possibly take this, running the truck down to empty, and barring any movement.
Anthony
here in the next few
25.
minutes,
I don't
we are
know
gonna be
what
heading
you
towards,
said or what I'm supposed to
watching the
respond to,
suspect go
but
towards
if you can
Greenwood.
hear me,
Okay, guys.
Redrop
now,
your
we know
comment
that
into the
CHP is in a
chat.
position where they're running brakes. If Fontana asked them to take over, they could do that. And if that's the case, they also have jurisdiction outside, as far as Bakersfield and beyond.
Right, yeah, California law enforcement, the way it works is they're sworn kind of at a state level, so...
What is he doing?
Oh, go ahead, Des.
What is,
There may be
Ranger,
more
what is this
comments.
guy talking about?
Go ahead, Mike. We're just.
Yeah, some air traffic. There's a lot, I can tell you there is a lot of air traffic up there. There is CHP, there's all the news helicopters up there, so Desmond's dealing with some congested airspace for sure. But what I was going to point out, Pat, yeah, the Fontana PD can certainly make the arrest outside of their city limits. They have that power and ability to do so. And if for whatever reason that they didn't feel comfortable with it, CHP has been there the whole time and can certainly, step in.
I don't think that
and
was a spike
officiate
strip,
that arrest
no.
for them if they needed to.
I'm watching
Yeah,
the
as we've seen
I'm
where
watching the
they can
KTLA one
change
too,
out
just in
on
case I
any
missed
given-
something.
through any
KTLA's
given
signals
jurisdiction,
in and out
and
with
the
Gil at the
CHP
moment.
As far as wide, as far as California is concerned, so it doesn't matter where he goes. If CHP wants to get involved, they certainly will.
And I was just kind of looking through the number of CHP offices that we've transitioned through from Fontana. That's the San Bernardino area, to Rancho Cucamonga. Baldwin Park has their office. East LA, Central, West Valley, Altadena, and Newhall we're in. So CHP has, yeah, and they've got. And then we're
Yep,
gonna go
we
to
can
the
see
Tahone
you.
office soon.
I can see the chat. I just can't read every single one that comes through.
Desmond,
Otherwise, I
keep
won't be able to see the
looking
chase.
at, all of these vehicles behind this truck and what's happening in front, which certainly doesn't seem to be a lot of traffic. But again, because of the darkness, that would obviously have
Damn.
make a difference in terms of what they would use. Maybe
Got some
to
traffic
do
on the
this
5
to-
northbound
for
right
sure.
now.
I know we've seen some that have
All
gone
because of this
far
guy.
as
Or
take,
gal.
as far as we could see from the chopper, and they've actually been able to either throw down a spike strip, or pit a vehicle to stop it. But if they don't, again, as we've been talking,
Chief of
that
Staff,
doesn't
did you miss
stop,
someone?
The arrest from taking place at some point.
We actually have certainly heard about.
We appreciate
and
you
seen
as well,
a few,
Pickle.
spike strip attempts.
Still
as we
here
get
after all
up
these
towards the
years.
Grapevine.
Still doing chases.
I've definitely seen quite a few myself.
Coming
that
up on
have any
9
pursuits,
years,
and,
started in
heard of others
2015.
After we've lost visual because it's at night, we can't proceed any further than about Lake Hughes Road. We can make it pretty close to about Castaic Lake and the 5 freeway, and then that
Gotta
is
check my computer
about
battery.
as far as we could go.
64% on the
And then we'll be
computer
watching it
battery.
Right into the distance and into the abyss, as it will kind of appear up towards the Grapevine, because it is just so dark up there, and SkyCal not equipped with the night vision technology, so it would not be safer for us to proceed. And but it might be so windy up there as well. We'll see if
The Periscope days, I was holding the phone the entire time, pointing it at the television. There was no OBS back then. Periscope was the first time you could go live to the world. I got Lexi in the chat telling me to do a barrel roll.
Of traffic frustration that this suspect has left behind them, going so slowly with all of those people that are probably
Picking
just
up a little
going,
bit of
"What
speed,
is
at least. We're up to
going on
45
right
miles
now?"
an hour. That looked like
Traffic
spike
at this
strips, but
hour,
it
and
wasn't.
This is the reason right here. The suspect coming out of
I would never fall asleep.
Now well established into the Santa Clarita Valley, covered. This is definitely in the I would say top maybe 5% as far as distances that has been covered.
I get a lot of people
Suspect,
in
just
Birds in the Air
considering
streams that are
the logistics
longtime
of what
WAB
happened,
people.
how
It's
this
hard to find
came
those on
from a
Twitter
gas station.
anymore.
Of course, we don't know how much gas was in the tank, how much had been pumped by the time that the suspect allegedly pointed a gun at the suspect that took their truck. But reason to believe that the suspect has a decent amount of gas, and they're kind of.
You know what? I loved
because they're really
Meerkat.
going
Meerkat
for
should have
45,
been
maybe 50
should
miles
have
an hour
been what
So
Periscope
that is what
the entire
became.
duration of this pursuit.
That is what happened. Then they stole this
Yeah.
truck at gunpoint.
Yeah, it was at a gas station. The victim was pumping the gas. Fontana police told us that they walked up to the suspect walked up to the victim at gunpoint, stole the truck. The good news, no shots were fired, and the victim was not injured, certainly shaken, but not injured. And the suspect hopped in, took off, and you had some quick responding Fontana PD officers that were able to spot the truck. And then,
Oh, you know what I'm going to do?
And
I'm going to load Eliana on the other
because
stream.
And
He
again,
did
yeah.
point a weapon at
Just in
and
case.
Not just stealing the truck, but he had a weapon.
Right,
And he
and-
pointed it at the person.
And I think too, Pat, you know, Fontana PD. If this was
Oh,
something,
God,
where
her
they
camera
ran
looks
a
so
license
bad.
plate that came
I can't-
back
I can't go to
stolen
that
or even
stream,
carjacked,
Eliana.
out of a different city or out of a different county. I don't know that Fontana would have chased it as hard as they did, but
Yeah.
This
because
looks
it happened
so much
tonight, because
better.
It happened in their city. I think that's probably why Fontana wants to stick with it.
Yep, and they have. And
Yeah.
as you guys, what has this been
Yeah.
over 2 hours now?
Yeah, the carjacking happened at 7:15. So we are 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hour, a little over 2 hours into this now.
And this guy has not stopped at another gas station.
No, he seems to have a full tank. You know, he's going up to 5, and then he's going to run out of options for gas stations once we get, you know, kind of past Castaic.
we tried to do the audio back and forth.
38 in the Grapevine.
Why don't we do this? We'll just check.
All right, again, Desmond, I just, you know, when we look at the manpower that is committed to this,
And they have the studio with Eliana too, or with CBS. Here's the Eliana stream. Eliana's just riding solo right now. She's got no help. This is LeBron with Jamario Moon.
Yes.
Now on the call, Eliana Moreno. We'll stick
It
with her.
is, yeah. Yeah.
The sweet, sweet
think so,
sounds
yes.
of.
Right there. He just ran over the spike strip.
Ah! Spike strip there! Yeah, you hit it!
Before, because I didn't want to tip him off in any way, but he did.
Oh, you sneaky devil, Eliana! She knew the spike strips were coming! Oh, he definitely ran over something. That was a spike strip bed. That's a big spike strip bed. And that's why that CHP officer, as we said, drove ahead at speed. You had a feeling that he was setting up something. He was up to something. 10 minutes later, connecting with the spike strips. The moment we put on Eliana,
So that did look good to me. So we'll see.
he drove over all four of those
Slow down.
with all four
Spike strips
tires.
don't-
But on a Dodge Charger of this size, it will take probably 10 minutes for those tires to leak. It's a slow drip. And if he's not making any turns, it's going to take forever for the rubber to come off. But that was a full connection.
So we'll keep an eye on it. There's going to be more.
She is the Gus Johnson. The moment you put on her broadcast, action.
Figure out where they're going to be. We knew that one would be there because I'm listening to the scanner here and I heard them say it. So at this point, the officers behind him can't tell if it was successful or not. It looked good to me from this vantage point.
Yeah, we're going to get a Katy Perry
But
challenge.
We'll see if it starts to affect the vehicle.
Feels
in
like
any
Katy
way.
Perry's coming up here. It's going to take about 10 minutes, at least. And then once those tires start to go, so do the aerodynamics of the Dodge Charger. Then it starts tilting. Then it starts grinding. Then the sparks start to fly. Then the rubber comes off the axles. Then you go down to the axles and you go down to the rims. You grind through the rims to the axles, and then the car is weighted so far forward, it's just plowing with the fender. See, NBC says this is 5 southbound at the top of your screen. That's just wrong. Everything about NBC is just wrong. Always wrong. But they have Eliana. Let's see what Desmond has to say.
Oh, but so the Fontana PD ship's now down at Van Nuys Airport.
okay, look at this. I don't know if that's significant here, but I thought they were speeding up again to try to get closer.
Eliana's probably listening to the scanner. That's why it's so quiet. Yeah, CBS has replays too.
So we are now in Stevenson Ranch, still northbound 5, approaching Valencia Boulevard. Units are getting ever so close here.
It's like lions.
He is slowing down a lot. Let's see.
Stalking.
This might be it. Let's see.
Okay, we're slowing down, really slowing down.
Okay.
10 miles an hour, stopped. Now what?
Coming to a stop. Again, he's believed to possibly be armed.
Armed.
So I'm
Now
going
what?
to-
Are those arms? Is that an arm out the window?
Yeah, so they're saying good spike, so he does have a flat.
It's got a flat
So
tire.
I'm going to widen out
Front
here.
left is flat.
until we
Door's
see
open.
hands. And there we go.
Door is open. Hands are up.
Hands are up towards the sky.
Dog! Doge! Big Doge! Big Doge! Oh, look at the shadow. Look at the size of that tail.
They're asking him to lift up his shirt.
Canine
so
unit.
You can see his waistband to make sure that there's nothing on his person that could possibly harm them. You see the police canine.
Oh, that big dog wants in. That dog wants in. Look at the shadow. Look at it. Look at the shadow.
So your services aren't needed there, buddy.
Oh, but he wants to.
He's walking back towards the officers.
Gonna have a Patrick Starfish here in a minute. We are not code 4.
Try to get him away from
Okay.
the police dog there.
Yeah, look at dog.
Being held back by the handler.
Huh? Dog's close. Dog is so close. It won't attack unless they tell him to,
Oh,
though.
there we go.
Ah! A dog!
They're bringing him down.
Oh, God, the dog's unleashed and now they're wrecking him.
Suspect about 6
You
officers.
trying to get back in the vehicle? What is going on? I told you we weren't code 4. What is attached to the Doge?
Side of his leg. You see the Fontana.
Oh, God, he got fucking wrecked on the CBS stream. Oh, my God. Hold on. Maybe they'll show a replay on CBS. Oh, he got wrecked.
Was not happy with.
And we couldn't see what that was either. So there's been quite a bit that's going on in the last 10 minutes or so. I'm just wondering when that spike strip.
Oh, fur missile engaged.
Tire just seemed to go out pretty quickly, if that's the case.
You got to see the replay from this angle with Desmond. He gets launched by the fur missile into the driver's side open door. Gets launched.
Yeah.
And then that to happen when it did.
I don't know if they're going to show a replay.
Number of underpasses over the 14, and in that area.
You know what happened was he wasn't listening.
Playing back the moment.
He had his hands up, and I think he turned around, and then he went to his pockets. And the moment he did that, it was game over because he's armed and dangerous, and the cops don't know. So as soon as he wasn't obeying commands,
They were not giving him any time
fur missile.
to rethink that decision.
Okay, so guys,
Yeah.
obviously they did not tell him to turn around. They just-
Yeah, that's the reason. There's no way they told him turn around and go to your pockets. That's the equivalent of going to a bag at the basketball court, going to the trunk. That is instant fur missile. Even if the intentions were good, you can't do that.
So yeah, so the canine is also tired.
Never go to your pockets.
All right, well,
Wow.
okay, well, Desmond, you want to call this code 4?
Yep, this is officially a code 4.
Now we're code 4. Now you can drop your 4s in the chat.
So it is a all clear here for authorities. Unfortunately, not an all clear for everyone that is stuck in this backup here. Boy, some
Should be
folks have
cleared
been in
here in
this
a
for
second.
A long, long time. Trying to
Wow.
get, if you were trying to go from like Hollywood to or Van Nuys to Castaic, until CHP reopens lanes, unfortunately, that is going to be a jam up for these folks getting stuck in this one. Hopefully they can
Yeah,
reopen
I don't
those
have the
soon.
ability to rewind
So, too. All right,
on the
thanks so
streamer
much
that
for
I'm on.
Des and Mike. All right, we're going to move on to more news this evening.
Wow.
Senate Republicans are demanding a change to the.
Okay. I'm going to try and find a replay of the CBS angle. Just give me 1 second here. That was nuts. I think I can find it on... Oh, I know where to go. Hold on. Don't go anywhere, people. I know where to find it. I'm going to go to YouTube. And I'm going to go to... KCal. And if they're not live, I think I know where to find it. Okay, it's not there yet, but we'll go to these Chase. Oh, I have the Fox angle. Don't want the Fox angle. Maybe they'll give us. Maybe they'll give it the side angle. They're way behind. Oh my God. Yeah, they're way behind. Okay. So we're not doing Fox. Oh! ABC's got it. Let me get you guys a replay.
missile loose
Ah!
on that suspect.
He just said fur missile. You guys hear that? Wait,
Sure.
I just heard fur missile. Hold on.
All right, one more time. Rewind it, if you can. Let's go ahead and rewind it just a second there. So he's got his hands up here. He turns around. That is not what they want to see there. He turns around way here, and we'll see just how injured that suspect might be
Okay.
in just a second here. We're also going to try and get a replay of this.
Listen. Wait, listen.
Odd ending as that suspect, who was clearly attempting to comply, took his hand off his head and turned around for a split second, provoking Fontana PD to let the fur missile loose.
Fur missile!
on that suspect.
Let the fur missile loose on the suspect. Let's go. Okay.
Sure.
Here is your replay.
And he is now complying with these officers, the K-9 ready to go if needed. But you can see him now, hands spread, legs spread, and he is now slowly
Watch the
following
doge.
those commands.
Okay, he's going to turn
Hands
around here in a
behind the
second.
head, and they
Only one
will
hand's
take
behind the head.
suspect into custody in the
Arms
next
are out.
few seconds, but it does look like the vehicle was disabled by that spike strip. If the first one didn't do it, the second one surely did. A very effective spike.
Okay, he's backing up.
Finally, bringing this pursuit to an end. The pickup
You're gonna get a
truck
good
coming
view
to
of it
stop
right here.
On the northbound 5
He's going to the
freeway
side.
Mount Parkway.
And now he's going to turn around and show his pockets.
Now about to be taken into custody. This is a wanted carjacker who was believed to be armed. We don't know.
Oh, that dog is so close.
Whether the weapon is still in the vehicle, whether he is armed still, or
What is he doing?
He's now turning. Oh! They deployed the dog.
Dog!
Turned around. He turned around, took his hands down. The dog has been let go on the suspect.
Boom! Oh, he got speared into the door. And now getting wrecked by the Doge.
Wow, they have tackled him to the ground. A number of officers, after he turned around, not sure if there was a language barrier there or what, but for some reason, he took his hands down, turned around, the dog was deployed, and now they're going to have to call for an ambulance because the suspect was clearly taken down by the dog, tackled to the ground by those officers, and something went sideways there. We will see the disposition
What is
of that
happening in-
suspect once they bring him up here. But boy, oh boy,
Oh.
you didn't really see that coming. He certainly appeared to be obeying the commands. They've given the code 4. The vehicle is clear. Suspect on the ground. And at some point,
Man, I'd panic too if that damn fur missile's foaming at the mouth.
I don't know if you can, but if you can, we'll replay it and see.
Let's run it back one more time. Here it is right here.
To be taken into custody. This is a
Okay. So he's doing like the Macarena here for a second, going back and forth. Then he goes to the pocket and turns around and gets wrecked. Look at that. Like he's doing a square dance. Turns around. That's the wrong idea. That, you do not turn around.
He turned around.
Oh!
His hands down. The dog has been let go on the suspect. And now this has come to a, wow. They have
I'm going to freeze it on the moment that he fucked up.
This is a wanted
I'm going to freeze it
who was
right.
believed to be armed. We don't know whether the vehicle or whether the weapon is still in the vehicle, whether he is armed still or.
That's it right there. Okay. For those of you that are ever in a police chase in the future, never do this. Ever. Especially if you're wanted for being armed and dangerous. Never face them like that. Always with your back, even if your hands are still up. That is the international sign of send the fur missile. And the reason for that is a confrontation. What happened at the end of this? What happened at the end of this chase, by the way? Yeah, and you can, even worse, you can get yourself shot if you turn and face like this. This is an aggressive act that clearly police are trained to act upon. So never do that, okay? Always hands behind your head. Maybe go to the cement. Patrick Starfish.
What the deal is, he is now turning. Oh! They deployed the dog. He turned around. Took his hands down. The dog has been let go on the suspect, and now this has come to a.
But wait, at the end of this chase,
to the ground.
look this is the part we missed. Why is the truck moving? Are there cops moving the truck?
Thank you, sir.
Maybe it's just a re-rack. Yeah, I think they're just getting the truck off the road here. I was about to say, the man didn't get back in the damn truck. Not after that. Okay. Yeah, they're just moving it to a parking lot. All right, folks. I think that is a good point to call this. That was an eventful 90 minutes. The fastest 90 minutes in a long time. The dog is driving now. I'm the captain now. They got the dog in the front seat. All right, people. Before we go, just a reminder that you go to birdsintheair.com. Got yourself a Pursuit Tree ugly Christmas sweater for sale in the store if this interests you. Pursuit Tree new merchandise just dropped. Top left corner of your screen. birdsintheair.com. Perfect for your holiday celebrations and festivities if interested. Only $39, by the way. That's pretty cheap. T-shirts are $29. Anyways, I guess we're out of 2X and XL. We're sold out in everything but small, medium, and large? Wow. That's a good question. I did not know that. I know we sold a lot. We've sold probably between 30 and 40, but I figured we might have more than that, but I'll find out. Yeah, we have other stuff too. There's fur missiles. The one I just showed you, fur missile. What is that bib? I Heart Basketball Baby? What on earth? Did I approve that? I don't know. Maybe my partner, Justin, probably put that in there for some reason. Okay. All roads lead to Downey. Spike Strip Queen. There's the Ejecto Zeta. Can you imagine? Can you imagine walking the street and seeing some good-looking girl wearing a Jack Tosito? I'd fall in love on the spot. So funny. All right. On that note, people, that's enough advertising for one night. I appreciate you hanging out for these 90 minutes. I'm going to go out into the world, hopefully not get into a police chase. But until then, maybe we'll get another chase tonight and I'll be back for it. I will see y'all on the timeline.